It is
That
3.
day's bad.
3, not trees.
I said 3.
John, I did have copies of that.
Oh, you did? Oh, I just print them right in. Nice
Forget
color
about
version
it.
here.
What?
Forget about
I
it.
can't even hear what you're saying.
Forget about
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, so you want to do that, Bobo?
Well, I told him, I said,
Forget about it.
discuss that, I want to pay close attention because I worked here for 37 years and never understood it.
Okay, so.
Have they been doing
Park your car.
for a long time?
What time you got?
Never sounds-
301.
Okay.
It's 3:31.
It's 3:01. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Roll call. Martha,
Yep,
glad to see you back. Sue,
here,
and Smith is here. Martha, you want to non-public for this right away?
I think, yeah, I think, sure.
Okay. We have a quick non-public. I'm going to make a motion to go into non-public session 1, RSA 91A3 2A. Do I have a second?
Second,
Roll call. Martha,
yes,
Sue,
yes.
and Smith is yes.
301.
No, I it off and on.
322.
Okay, I make a motion to re-enter the public meeting.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye,
Make a motion to seal the non-public minutes from session 1.
second,
All those in favor?
aye.
I'm going to go into some of my red folder documents here. I have this is a Town of Ossipee tax warrant for map 102 lot 10 in the amount of $2,688.90. This is per Superior Court order for a property cleanup and for reimbursement. And the court order is attached. Make a motion to approve this. Where is it?
Second,
All those in favor? Aye. I have a note from the Board of Selectmen to the trustee of trust funds to withdraw from the ETFs in the amount of $212,568.51. One is from the Benefit Pay ETF, one is from the Whittier Covered Bridge ETF, one is from the Revaluation Expense ETF, one is from the Police Vehicle ETF, and one's from the Invasive Species Cost ETF. Make a motion to approve this.
second,
All those in favor?
aye.
I have a water sewer warrant in the amount of $5,148. This is going to McKenna Septic and Lakes Region Septic and DJ Septic. Make a motion to approve this.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Did you say DJ?
DJ Septic, yeah. And then I have an abatement application request from Robert Woolley, spelled W-H-O-O-L-L-E-Y, from 10 Main Street, Center Ossipee. He was billed the wrong account number. Will issue a new bill for the correct account number. The amount is for $40. It was recommended by the Public Works Director. Make a motion to approve this.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Mark has to sign it. Mark has to sign this one. So, I get your documents there? What do you have, just minutes?
Yeah, but we do this at the
Well, we got the aggregation thing coming, so that's why
Oh, okay.
that's why I figured speed it up. We got the aggregation, the public hearing.
Okay. I have the minutes of the Electricity Aggregation Committee meeting Monday, November 27th. I make a motion to approve these minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have the minutes of the November 13, 2023 Selectmen's meeting. I make a motion, we approve these minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have the Selectmen's and Electricity Aggregation Committee meeting Monday, November 6th. I make a motion, we approve these minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a water and sewer warrant in the amount of $21,556.96. I make a motion, we approve these minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have a water and sewer warrant in the amount of $11,839.75. I make a motion, we approve this water and sewer warrant.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have a water and sewer warrant in the amount of $40. I make a motion, we approve this.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I have.
Take those from you. So we're just reviewing the red folder, primarily documents that came down to us late due to a software glitch, so there's going to be some silence here while I'm reviewing these and looking at them. And I'll pass it on to you.
Oh, I have the town of Ossipee check out the totals for week ending December 11th. Total payroll was $64,361.34. General fund was $109,798.16. Fire precincts, $13,973. Water department, $46.34. Sewer department, $1,160.68. Total fund payments was $189,439.32. Make a motion to approve these figures. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you remember what our heating oil price was? I thought it was $2.44 for some reason.
I thought it was 269.
Okay, that's what it says. I had $2.44 in my head for some reason, so that's accurate. It's
I think that was the year before.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it must have been 2 years ago. Last year,
Yeah,
we were
okay.
like 369 or something. that today, I'm like, that's gonna be hard. Martha.
No, because I wasn't smoking.
That's true.
It isn't, I can't remember.
I didn't wanna ask, but I was hoping you would.
See, it's 4 months today.
Holy. I'd say that flew by, but that's only my perspective. You might have a different one. That's impressive.
All September, October, no, three full months. It's that full.
Okay. Makes more sense. It's still really good. Remember taking a picture of Bonnie in that big chair last year for the town before.
So some, we don't know,
I don't.
a lot of different ones. Kenny did it once.
TJ, how often do we have to do the wastewater certification? Is that yearly?
Yearly. We have to do distribution too, every year. I did those earlier.
His brother bought snow machines. We didn't have the kids, so it's no big deal when they got there.
It's pretty cool.
She was the little girl's kid, that's how.
Really?
She wouldn't go near it.
Put this on the bottom of the pile. Be a few more minutes of silence. Can I come upstairs?
Hey, John, I propped this door open for
Oh.
Justin's truck's almost done.
Is it
Next week.
next week? Last time they were saying before Christmas, well, Christmas ain't far off. Sneaking up.
I hope that works out good.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a night last week, was it? Lucky, he was lucky, he go rolling.
Timmy was lucky.
Yes,
He didn't tip over.
but he didn't get. And,
I've ordered new tires for that. I've never seen tires that bad on that motor. Unreal. They're not worn, it's just they're made for working in a pit or something. As soon as you get snow, you can't move. They got no siping, they're hard. At least we'll have a spare, because that wasn't good the other day.
Doing Santa Claus this year? Frank?
It sat right up at Mud Pond Flats for,
Oh, you can come, maybe you could do it.
I went everywhere. The whole crew were tired for about 5
What?
hours. Could not get that to see.
Oh, yeah, suck it in. Don't pull too hard, your head will cave in.
They don't make stuff like they used to. You know,
No, they're not made for snow. They're just not.
why not? You were doing it, you know? Different things, California, you know?
Are you on right now?
Yes.
how's your mother doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Walked quite a bit this morning at home
Good.
without my walker. Which
My son,
was first.
you had your hip replaced, right? You had your hip replaced?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, my son had both of them done.
Yeah, well,
But you don't want that.
I'm not ready for the second one.
No, he got it because of
Yeah,
arthritis.
yeah,
Yes,
that's
it
what mine
will,
is. Same thing.
And it was like night and day once he got going.
Yeah.
He got smart and moved down south.
It
And a
wasn't
lawn.
the fun little project I thought it was going to be. So say,
Who's up for re-election? Coming up? You are, right. What, you got 1 year?
it's Dick and Bell. Good. That's something. The boys still, oh, they are still here? Oh.
TJ, you got anything?
I just told Martha the new truck is supposed to be here next week. I ordered I didn't order it, it's coming from Guilford at a different location, but the tractor for water, for sewer and water. That'll be good, they'll give them something to do the fire hydrants with.
What is it again?
It's a new John Deere 52 horse, 4052, and we got
The backhoe?
no back. No, we did wider tires on it to disperse the weight so they could possibly mow the flat spots down at Camp
You
David.
don't need the backhoe for around the hydrants and stuff, you just bucket it
No,
out?
just the bucket. We got a snow bucket for it.
How many acres is that down there for mowing? I never measured it. Any idea? Have you ever measured it? We should measure it.
Just mowing?
Yeah, mowing all the grass. That's gotta be like 20 acres or more.
I bet it's more, even
Probably
maybe,
more
I
than
don't
that.
know. It's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of it you can't do with a finish mower because it's
Yeah, it's too
not
steep.
flat, but the flat spots are gain some time with that mower.
Yeah.
Even next to the roadway, if you added all that up, is pretty significant,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yep. The septic cart worked good.
That's good.
I got no other business for this. You, Sue?
Nothing.
There's no more votes to make. So you can actually, you want to recess and you can review that in recess?
Yep,
Yep. Okay, I make a motion to recess to 4:15.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll be bringing the big TV down for the presentation. Martha, do you think it'll be okay if I can corner it again like this? I might squish you down a little bit, but.
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
Right in.
I'm real.
Why won't
He's just trying to, he's just business.
You can sit next to me, we'll both be alternates together.
I'm trying to get him. This is like,
Can you visit?
I give you real good. At least you can buy.
Would you have the sunshine?
I don't know.
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
They didn't even have a tree. Saturday
Okay, it's 4:15. I'm going to reconvene the meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to open the meeting to the first public input. Oh, I'm sorry. Stand by, the public input, Sue has something to say.
We, the board, would like to acknowledge the passing of a former selectman, E. Morton Levitt. He served 2 terms as an Ossipee selectman. 2 different terms. He will be greatly missed by the town of Ossipee, and the board, and we all send our sincere condolences to the family.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Batson.
He also served as our legislator in the legislature, somewhere along the line.
He was also a county commissioner, I do believe.
Yes, that's right.
He wore many hats.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to open it back up to public input. Go ahead, Mr. Batson.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, you weren't here, but in May, I brought in the Francis Lord's will, which dictates the Francis Lord Scholarship. I came back in June, and nothing has been done about it. And here it is December, and I just got a letter today, or yesterday, or Friday, from the university explaining that in the will it says Ossipee students will get preference at the University of New Hampshire. Out of 13 applicants, there's 2 from Ossipee. And it's been 6 months now, and I'd like to know what this board has done in the last 6 months, or since I was here in June. My gut feeling is the word is nothing.
Nothing to do with the town as far as our research goes, right? It's UNH handles it.
So my question, since I'm not up to date on this, I know that scholarship is administered through UNH directly, not through the trustee of
That's
trust
because,
fund.
John, that's because some other board here in the past hadn't done their job. You people are supposed to appoint a committee or a person to the committee so that UNH, who took over the scholarship and went to the, I forget what the technical name is, but it's like the SATs, it goes to Princeton and they set up, and they're doing that, so it's now become strictly financial. And it's got nothing to do with character, as Mr. Lord put in his will. Had to graduate from a Carroll County, be a resident of Carroll County, but could go to any other school. And when we finally got it going, Dick Ziegler, who was in town here, was in the guidance department at Kingswood High School. And when he retired, nobody was appointed to replace him, so the university would get these names, and the letter I gave these 2 in May specifically said that somebody was supposed to have been appointed to be the representative to meet with the other guidance counselors from Carroll County so we could get the thing back. Nothing has been done. And we're now coming into where the kids have to, some of them are going to make their choice on college on early acceptance, and one of the criteria is, well, do I have enough money to go there? Last year, I believe the scholarship gave out $86,000. There were 24 applicants. Ossipee's supposed to get preferential treatment with Tamworth being the backup. Out of 24, 4 kids got money at UNH, from UNH. I know one individual here in town that is a stay-at-home dad, and between he and his wife, she's a teacher. They didn't get any money, and it should have gone. That was a perfect example of somebody that should have gotten some money. And so, somewhere along the line, you people have got to move forward on this thing if you ever expect to get it back.
So just, let me ask, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This used to be a committee, you're saying, that was all the guidance counselors from Carroll County, along with a member from the board that came up with, reviewed the applicants to
It
review?
was, as I'm recalling it, John, they set up a selection committee, and they were from the different Kennett, wherever they are. Kennett,
all the
Kingston, who's the other one? I'm missing one.
Yeah, Governor Wentworth, you got Kennett,
Moltenborough.
Marlboro, Wolfboro.
And
Wolfboro is one.
that committee was supposed to gather and decide who should be the recipients of this money. And after Dick retired, it never got filled again, and the university just usurped the power and went to work.
How long ago was it instituted or administered in that fashion? How many years ago was Dick?
Probably 10 years.
So it's been out probably for 10 years?
I think Dick's been out before he died. He was in Michigan for, I don't know, 8 or 10 years.
And you're saying this is in his will, the process?
Pardon me?
The will dictates the process?
Yes.
Do you
And
have a copy of that?
I gave you a copy, not you.
I have a copy.
You do?
I've got that file.
The ladies have a copy of it.
I did that.
So I don't know if you want to,
Well,
if it's supposed to be, I don't know if it's
I
supposed
do
to.
have it, David brought it in, and I do have that stuff, and we did contact Kingswood to try to get the ball rolling. I don't believe they've ever responded to us, have they?
That's correct.
Yeah, so they
Who
haven't.
did you, I don't have any problem. I called Laura Crane, who's in the guidance department, and I have no problem at all. Who did you people call?
Well, we,
If you're referring back to May, I don't recall the details at this point.
I know we called shortly after you came in the last time. And it's funny, just the other day, I was thinking, haven't heard anything back from Kingswood on that scholarship. So.
And here's what I got 2 days ago, which is completely different from what I've been receiving. I don't know why they think I should get it, but I get it. And the old ones had how much each student got, who the student was, where they lived. This one doesn't say anything about money. We also got a financial statement attached telling us how much the scholarship had appreciated or depreciated, not depreciated, what's the word? Gone down.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it.
Depreciated. Yeah. And as I recall, the sum had gone from $50,000 in the 1950s to over $2 million. And the money is not going to our kids, and that's a crime. The one that didn't get it from Wolfboro was the typical kid that we want to keep here and run businesses in Carroll County and try to boost the economy. Got nothing.
I know we did try to get a hold of Smith and Major, and nothing was returned.
Mr. Babson, why do you receive the letters? Why, like, I'm still unclear as to how the town relates to any of this, but you get a letter, you must get something that we don't get, because I don't believe I've seen that, so I was curious.
No, it's not copied to anybody here. But I called Laura Crane and she got a blind copy of it, so.
So the scholarship and UNH don't contact you directly, you got this?
They always have. But then when they took it over, for a couple of years, they continued to send the information. And then,
Why to you specifically, if I
well,
can indulge?
how much time you got, Matt?
Not a lot.
Back, Martha can tell you, back in the late 80s, UNH decided they were going to have a timber cut, remember, Martha? And on the Lord, he also gave a lot of property here. And in the will, it said the profits from the timbering were gonna go into the scholarship. Well, Peter Opal was the selectman there, and at that time, and we got going, and I was the state representative, which is nothing but, excuse me, John, but, you know, we're not kings. And it turns out the university had been taking the timber cuts and putting it in their general fund and paying professors and doing everything but giving it out in scholarship money. And we put the pressure on them, and they set up the committee like it was supposed to be set up, because Dick Ziegler was right there, and that's where and they've always continued to send me the paperwork, thinking maybe honorable means more than I think it means, but
David, could you tell us some people that were on that committee?
What?
Who was on this committee that you're talking about?
Dick Ziegler, he was in the guidance council, so I guess the selectmen made him, or Kingswood made him the representative, because he was there dealing with the kids every day and knew who needed the money and who didn't.
Does the board want to pursue this any further? Just to see if there's any obligation on our part to try to reorganize this, or?
I think we probably should.
Okay. So I guess do you have any additional information to share with us? Like,
Not right now.
Get a copy so they can read that.
Sure.
so I guess we'll just have to explore this via, do you have a copy of the will? Do you have a copy of the will?
I don't.
No,
I think I got,
doesn't
I'm gonna
get
make
any
a copy
copy
of
anyway.
this.
Okay, you have a copy.
I think David gave me quite a bit of paperwork last spring.
But that was in the old one when they were telling us how much they got and who they were. I don't really need to know who it is that's getting the money. To me, if student one from Ossipee and getting 5,000, student two, I don't care who it is. But it'd be nice to know that the students from Ossipee got 10,000 or 12,000 or whatever it is.
Okay, so we'll have to have Matt dig
And I'll
into
bring
it
that paperwork
and
in.
see what we can find. I can't guarantee anything, but we'll do our due diligence and
I
hopefully.
think the
get
very first thing you ought to do, Mr. Chairman, is call the guidance counselor or Laura Crane.
I got that.
Don't try to outfox her, she's got a memory like an owl.
No, well, that's what we'll do. We'll start there.
She can fill you in and see if, then you can make your appointment, who would be the representative to meet with her and start the selection committee. And maybe somebody in the guidance council like Dick would.
All right.
Thank you.
So we'll have Matt contact her and we'll see, we'll start there. Anything else, Mr. Batson?
Can I change the
The Honorable
subject?
Mr. Batson.
Thank you, John. Can I change the subject?
Sure, go ahead.
About a year and a half ago, I came in here because my neighbor's guinea hens were in my barn, living in my barn, using my facilities and the feed bunk, so I had to clean it out every time I wanted to feed my animals. The last police chief said, well, it was a civil matter, so I brought you people in a copy of the law that says it isn't a civil matter, it's a RSA that has to be or should be enforced. Those chickens, fortunately, they're down to 5 from about 15, but they can't run over the last 5. They're escapees. And I brought my daughter, she came up here to see what was going on. We got home this afternoon, they're on my front lawn. The law says that you can free range, but they have to be free range on your property.
Right.
And they're on my property more than they're on the heirs.
So, have you contacted the new police chief? 'Cause we-
Yes.
And has he been,
I don't think anything has been done.
I would suggest you follow up with him and then we could have Matt, he's on vacation, we'll have Matt follow up with him and see if there's a solution to the problem.
I appreciate them getting rid of the ticks, but I kind of hate slipping on their
Okay. So Matt, contact the police chief and just have him follow up with Mr. Babson on this. Anything else?
Only just to make a statement that Brown Ridge Road is now a runway. They've done a beautiful job paving it and,
The smoother the road, the faster they go.
oh, yep.
Yeah, true.
And if we could get any support, it would be,
He can relay that to the chief also, I would think. Any other public input? Nothing? Okay, I'm going to recess the public meeting and open the public hearing for the Electricity Aggregation Committee. Stuart is going to give us a quick presentation. This is the second public hearing on this. The board really doesn't have any questions. I mean, some of you were here for the last one, but Stuart, I guess you have it, and any questions you'll be able to ask.
Great, thank you. My name is Stuart Ormsby. I'm with Colonial Power Group. We're a small energy consulting firm that the town is contracted with. And we're going to be assisting the town potentially administering an aggregation program. So the purpose of the public hearing is to give you a brief overview, a brief description of what this is all about. As you'll hear shortly, this is something that if the select board decides to vote to do so, they'll be putting a warrant article on town meeting in this coming spring for voters to vote on this opportunity. So let me give you a rundown of what this is all about. So in New Hampshire, there's statutes on the book that allows any community in the state to form what's called a community choice aggregation program. And so what this is, this has everything to do with your electricity bill, right? So this is an alternative to purchasing your electricity supply from your local utility company, either Eversource or the New Hampshire Electric Co-op, whichever company you might take your supply from. Important to understand is there are two parts to the service that your utility company provides. There's the delivery part, that's the poles and the wires. They continue to do that no matter what. It's a monopoly business for them. The supply part, the actual electrons, you have a choice in New Hampshire. You've had that choice for over 20 years now. So you can go out and select your own power supplier. A number of people have done that and have done that very successfully over the years. But honestly, for a large number of customers, it's not an easy process. Some of the suppliers out there, you need to be careful. It's their contract terms. If you are super attentive, it tends to work out well. If you're unable to be super attentive, it can be very, very costly. So the aggregation program just provides another option, another opportunity for residents. And the way it works is if a town council or a select board in this case decides they want to set up a program on behalf of the town, there's a number of statutory steps that have to be taken, including, again, like I mentioned, a vote at town meeting that yes, we want to do this. And so what the town does on behalf of its residents and its small businesses, you're effectively creating a buying pool, a large buying group, and because of the size, even for a town the size of Ossipee, it's a large buying group that competitive suppliers find very interesting to bid on. And so as Colonial, as administrators of the program, we issue competitive RFPs. We work with a number of suppliers. They bid on the town's load, come up with a fixed price for some term length. It could be 2 years, it could be a year, it could be 3 years. Just depends on market opportunities at that time. And that becomes an option for all residents. Again, an option, alternative to utility supply or contracting directly with a third-party supplier. One important part of this program, and this is a key part that makes it effective, it's what's called an opt-out program. What that means is your starting base of customers are all customers who are currently taking power supply from the local utility. Anyone who's currently contracted with a third-party supplier, they're excluded from the list because they're already under a contract. The town doesn't want to do anything to disrupt that contract. So anyone on utility supply is considered in the program unless you make your own selection to opt out. And so there's a number of specific steps that we as administrators, we have to follow. So before the contract gets underway, we're going to have a series of meetings. We always do a mailing with a specific opt-out card. And if for whatever reason you don't want to participate in the town's program, no problem. You don't have to. No one's forcing you to be in this program. It's just completely an option that the select board is offering on your behalf. So if you want to opt out, you just sign a card, or there's a phone number you can call, or you go to a website that we're going to set up a dedicated website just for the town of Ossipee. You can click, on the website to opt out. And then over time, as we're going to get into, it's a very flexible program. You can come in and out of the program as you wish. You might choose to remain on Eversource for a period of 6 months if their rate happens to be really attractive at any given time. But you can come back into the program, and there's no fee to kind of come and go from the program. One thing that's really attractive to a lot of the towns that we're talking with is just the element of local control. So the program, as we move forward, typically the way they're set up, a lot of towns like to offer different options for its customers. So there might be an option where it's the lowest price possible. And there could be another option that's maybe a little more expensive, but includes a larger renewable energy component to it. People want to support local solar or local wind. And there could be a third option, for example, that's just 100% renewable power. Again, at a slightly higher price point. So that's quite a bit different than today. If you're currently taking power supply from the co-op or Eversource, I mean, it's one rate. Their rate changes every 6 months, particularly in the case of Eversource. In the case of Eversource, I'll just use that as an example. They just follow a process. Every 6 months they go out and they contract for power supply. It's very much dictated by the State Utility Commission. There's nothing strategic about what they do. So whatever the market rate is, that's what you pay. Here we can be a lot more strategic. We can look for buying opportunities when forward prices are at low points. That would be an attractive time for us to lock in. And so we're always going to be in contact, as administrators, always in contact with Matt and the select board and making decisions along the way of making good decisions on when to buy. So the kind of the big themes for these programs, looking for price stability, and one thing that you all suffered with if you're on the utility supply rate over the last couple of years, tremendous price fluctuations, right? We went into some winter periods when you paid rates so high, you've never seen rates that high before, right? So these programs offer a lot of stability in terms of prices. It's entirely self-funded, so there's no taxpayer money that supports these programs. There's a fee added to the rate that covers the administrative costs that we're incurring, any mailing or hosting the website. That's all covered in the program rate. As I already talked about, this provides an alternative choice to some of the challenges of contracting directly in the third-party market. Some other important elements that I haven't touched on, your utility company still, again, maintains the wires and the poles. If your lights go out, you still call your utility company. None of that changes. There's no erosion in terms of reliability of service. This is just simply the electrons, the power supply. You still continue receiving one single bill from a utility company. The only thing that changes on your bill is a single line item. So instead of Eversource Last Resort Service, it would be the Town of Ossipee aggregation program, just a single line item. Any utility services that residents may take advantage of from the utility companies, if they offer some energy assistance programs, energy efficiency programs, none of that is disrupted. You can still take advantage of those utility programs. And then lastly, can I stand here and guarantee that the program rate is always going to be the lowest one out there? I can't. I mean, we're just trying to, again, we're focused on price stability. We're going to try to get the lowest prices possible, but there could be times that the utility sort of gets lucky on their every 6 month cycle that the rate is a bit below the program rate. But again, you always have the option, if you want, to switch out of the program and go to the utility rate for 6 months and then come back into the program later. I mean, what we've done a lot of these programs over the last 14, 15 years in other states, and kind of the focus is to look at your success over a period of time, and sort of the metrics show that yes, these are quite successful if you're patient to look over those longer terms. A couple important things we need to mention. There's a lot of consumers in town, I believe, that take advantage of net metering programs with the utilities. In other words, they have rooftop solar on their homes. We need to be careful with those customers. The utility programs for net metering customers are quite attractive financially. For those customers, we're not going to treat them on an opt-out basis. They can participate in the program, they can come in if they wish, but we really need to have a conversation with them whether or not the program can actually match the benefits that they're currently getting from the utility programs. A lot of those customers are probably going to be better off just staying with the utility, but that's sort of an individual conversation we'll need to have with those folks. And then ongoing information, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to set up and maintain a dedicated website, keeping it current with all information about the program, what the options are. You can go there to opt in and opt out and so forth. Just a quick sequence of events of what's happened so far and then what to expect going forward. Currently, we're on the 4th bullet point here. We're conducting the second of 2 necessary public hearings per the statute. If the select board, based on any feedback it's received from these public hearings, decides that yes, I want to take that next step, they would vote to approve a plan that we've developed on behalf of the town, and then bring it to town meeting for folks to vote on. And I was talking with John earlier, and I'll be there to answer any questions that folks may have at town meeting as they consider their vote. If it does pass at town meeting, there's the next step. The town's plan has to go for review to the Public Utilities Commission in the state. They get to review it, and it takes them a couple months to review that and approve it. Once we get through all those approvals, then we'd be looking to go out to the market and make the first contract decision. Now, there's no need at that point for the town to rush to contract. They can wait to get really advantageous pricing to launch the program. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be launching the program next fall. That would be the earliest we would do it, but it could be a bit later. If again, by happenstance, utility rates happen to be very attractive at that time, the town can decide to wait. Let's just see. Let's launch a program when we can really offer meaningful savings, and that's fine. I mentioned, I think, in terms of launch and implementation, I think I covered a lot of these bullet points. Again, importantly, there's going to be a mailing notification at least 30 days prior to program launch, giving the people the opportunity to choose whether or not they want to be in the program or not. That's my presentation. Any questions you may have? Yes, sir.
As I understand it, the PUC sets the electronic cost of billing for Eversource or anybody else. So if they're setting the rates and you're now in this aggregate, the companies that are providing energy to the program, how can they vary their price?
So the utility commission, like you said, they regulate and they establish what the rate is going to be for the delivery side of the bill. Again, to support the wires and the poles and so forth. But the supply side for, again, over 2 decades has been a competitive market. So you can choose which supplier you want to serve your resident.
But the PUC is setting the rate for companies A, B, C, and D. You can change from A, B, C, and D if you want, but how do they become more competitive?
But the utility company, the utility commission doesn't control the rates the suppliers charge. That it's a competitive market. So
I thought they did.
No, not for the supply side, no.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah, please.
when you look at your bill, you'll see a supply portion and a
Yeah.
delivery portion. The delivery portion is set by PUC, that's Eversource's, to what Stuart said,
Oh,
what they charge for the infrastructure. The supply is just the electricity portion, that's what's an open competitive market.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure.
The other question I have is, can you tell us 2 or 3 towns that have this, so if we know anybody in that town, we can check and see
Yeah, sure.
whether it's a good deal?
Right,
or
so,
not?
right, so generally, this is fairly new for New Hampshire, so there isn't too much experience out there, but there are a number of towns that have moved earlier this past year. So the city of Keene is out. There aren't too many towns up in this area that have launched yet.
Swansea's one, right?
Swansea has, yeah,
Marlboro, I
yeah.
think they're one, I'm looking at a list here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So
Keene,
yeah, Keene, Lebanon.
Lebanon, yeah.
Well, they're all in the same, that makes sense because they're all in the same area.
Yeah.
Except for Lebanon.
Right.
Wilton,
Portsmouth actually has, Exeter.
Are you in talks with anyone else in Carroll County?
So we had a good conversation in like one of your next door neighbors, Tufton Borough, thank you. And I need to follow up with them to see if they want to pursue it. We're working with the town of Lincoln, who's actually gone all the way through the process. Their plan has been, it passed town meeting, the plan has been approved by the commission. We're just waiting for the right time to launch the program. Not too far away, we're under contract with the towns of Greenland, Hampton, Northampton, and Londonderry, and I think soon Merrimack.
so just for the record, some of you were here at the last public hearing, but we had maybe 24, 30 people here at the last one. And I did an impromptu hand poll asking who in the audience shops their electricity, and only 4 raised their hands, meaning the overwhelming majority of the people would benefit from a program like this because they're getting the default service rate where this is going to shop for a lower rate and have it locked in and protect their pricing. Because again, everyone can shop, but only 4 out of the audience were actually shopping. So the
Well,
majority will benefit.
I'll tell you from personal experience, because I moved here last year. So I looked into that, and I asked people who were doing that. And every one of them said it is tricky. If you get it wrong, there are like penalties or whatnot. So there's like a certain date you have to renew by, and they said do not miss that date. So I went through them all, and I just thought there was just, even for me, and I'm fairly well educated, it was really just so much small print and exceptions and you know, a fine or some sort. So I was like, no, it was just too much. So while this does sound a lot better.
Yeah, and only a handful have a cancellation fee. The overall majority don't. Like I have direct energy, that's what I've been using for several years. I've been in and out. I've settled the contract and the rate dropped. I call them up, give me the lower rate, and they just give me a new contract. I'm locked out for 3 years right now, so my price is protected for 3 years going out. And I'm doing that on my own.
And I think it's great. You know, it's just, there's a lot of them to look at. And again, I tried to get as much input from people, what they were using, what their real experience was, because sometimes, you know, that's what you need to know is how do they treat you?
I've had nothing but great experience, but this will hopefully benefit the town, because again, the majority don't shop, so.
I have a
That's true.
question.
Yeah, Dallas.
You said something about solar panels and you would have to negotiate with the people that have solar panels. We have a 35-acre solar farm getting ready to go in town. Are we going to be hooked into that when they get there? Because they're probably
That's a
going to
wholesale
want.
project. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dallas, but that's going to be a wholesale project. The company going to be developing a project. They're going to be selling it back to the grid. Separate. They're going to be selling power back to the grid.
I
Totally
understand,
separate.
but they're talking about buying power, right? So they're buying it. They're not distributing it. They're buying it.
Right.
Would you be buying from them in any case?
Not from them. I mean, I'm guessing they're already under contract with someone.
They haven't even been through the,
Oh,
yeah, they still got a long way to go. They
Okay.
just got the preliminary variance, they still got to do planning board, site plan review, et cetera.
yeah.
So I don't know where they're at.
How often would you be updating your, would it be every 6 months, just like every source?
No, not necessarily. I mean, typically towns are signing, well, let me take a step back. I mean, the sort of the general strategy for buying is it's just based on market conditions. So in other words, like you can imagine with buying, say, heating oil, if you heat your home with oil, if rates are at all-time lows and you're able to lock that in for 3 years, you're going to do that. If rates are quite high, you tend to want to do something short-term. I'll lock that in for 6 months and hope that the market.
So you have some choice then in terms of the length of time
Yes.
you locked in?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh.
And so, yeah, we'll take advantage of that as much as possible. So the term lengths could vary just depending on what market conditions are. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Good.
John, did you say Milton when you read that list?
Wilton.
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 Must be the New York
West
accent.
of Nashville.
Other questions?
I'm gonna go back to, I've heard this discussion a few times from a few different people, and I'm not really sure that this is a necessary thing for Ossipee at all. I understand your point, people don't go out and shop, but, you know, that's their decision, that's not ours to make. The fact that they have to opt out rather than opt in is a problem. I don't think they should have to opt out, you know, the town doesn't use the same power. You're not guaranteeing you can keep the price low at all. There's no guarantees at all. There's no reason to do this for the town, other than you want to try to save everybody money with no guarantee that you're going to save anybody anything at all.
There's no guarantees on life or anything down there.
That's right, but why do we change it? Why do we need to change it then? If there's no guarantee, and
Because at least this way there's a possibility that they're going to save money. And again, if the person doesn't want to be part of the program,
that's an
you switch at it.
assumption that you're assuming. You're not, there's no guarantees. I've already heard it 4 times, there's no guarantees.
But I think that's what the voting is about.
Right.
People can,
Right.
take this under consideration and see if they see
and-
value in it.
That's right, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion is it's not necessary. So, no, that's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Turn your lights off.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Mr.
I don't
Comeau.
live in the town, this is a public hearing, do I have permission to speak?
Sure you do.
Ed Comeau from Town of Brookfield. One of your bullet points was the selectmen, by the end of this December, will vote to accept a plan. Is this plan a paper document, and should that not be distributed to the people who are going to vote in March beforehand, before they vote? Because I don't know, is this a document, or what is this
Yeah,
plan?
right, so, right, the plan is a document, there's a number of statutory requirements that the plan covers in terms of making sure people are treated equitably, a number of other things, universal service. So yes, there is a Town of Ossipee plan and it's the plan that the voters are voting on in the spring.
Will this plan be available for the public to view before the town meeting?
Yes, I mean, we would, I'll work with Matt to make sure that's posted and made publicly available. Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
We have a copy of the preliminary plan in the Selectmen's office, and we've had a copy online. I'm going to try to make sure it's still on the website, but we did have a copy digitally as well.
Any other questions? No? The board have any questions for Stuart?
So,
Stuart, you got anything for us?
Nope, I think I'm all set.
All right, great.
Sorry, I mean, so the next step, like I mentioned, would be when it's the appropriate time to consider taking a vote on the plan and to vote on a warrant for town meeting, if that's what you elect to do.
Sure. That'll be probably in January, I would think, if we...
just prior to warrant articles, I'd say.
Great. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and reopen the public meeting. We already did the red folder documents. Any other old business? New business? Anything?
Well, you're going to announce that the tax rate has been set.
Yep, I'm going to do that. Yep. I'm going to do that right after the public input.
I A lot of people asking.
Second public input. Dallas, what do you got?
I do have a question about the covered bridge.
Sure.
On the other side of the covered bridge, the road was completely ripped up. Is that still like that? Is it staying that way?
Not forever, but they had to come out because they collapsed when they were doing the bridge. The trucks went back over it, and they were old granite culverts. There was actually plow cutting edges in there holding them up.
Oh.
And they collapsed, and we looked into it. We went through Mitchie Corp. It was about $90,000 a box culvert to put back in there, and those box culverts are pretty necessary because, as you know, that river comes right up there, and you've got to have at least that 4x6 opening, and no one can really access that side, so we figured, you know, we'd put enough money into it now. We weren't going to change those. It was pretty expensive, but in the future, we're going to come up with something. We've talked about a walking bridge across it. We've talked about putting box culverts back into it.
You're talking about not putting anything back in there and just leaving that open?
No, they're only going to be open probably next summer. We'll look into putting something there. It's not going to be permanent. We just had to open them up for the springs. I can't go into winter and not have that open. And it's only one of them. The other one's failed too, but it's not failed enough that we need to take it out because we don't allow traffic down there. It's just foot traffic. And we don't know yet what we're going to put across it, whether it's a footbridge or make it accessible by vehicles or no trucks or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so for now, it's just going to stay open.
For now, that one is going to stay open, yet.
All right, that was my only question.
Good. Good.
Oh, hi. I'm an educator for using the Narcan, right, for the emergency opiate, right? So I'll be talking with people in Carroll County about getting some Narcan kits. The new ones are very interesting because they're designed to sort of look like the AEDs for the heart. And so what they're trying to encourage people is to put these Narcan kits next to where you have your heart, right? Emergency kit. So I would wonder if the town would be interested in any, and if so, how many might?
You have these kits available?
I'm working on it now. I'm trying to gather up some numbers. OCC, I'll be doing a training at OCC, and they'll have one. So I was wondering if the town itself.
Don't we do that through the fire department?
Fire department, well, the EMS service has it. I don't know if the fire department.
Right.
Yeah, this is a little different because it's meant to be on the wall wherever you have your emergency heart defibrillators, and so that anybody can easily learn how to give the Narcan. It's a nasal, it's not a needle. It's just like the nasal drops, nasal spray. So I can do like a 20-minute sort of demo for the town. Anyone that's interested, any employees. It's really simple. It is that, I think mostly it's the handout that should be kept with it. So people understand that you can't overdose. You can give people the Narcan every 2-3 minutes while you're waiting for the EMS. I think it's more of people understanding what they can do and not being worried. So you can give it every 2 to 3 minutes until EMS gets here. So if the town would be interested, I would be happy to see if I could procure enough.
Can you send Matt the information on it? Do you have an email document showing it?
Sure, I can do that. I mean, is there a number you think might, just so I have a number in my head?
How many do we have? One each building, right?
I think there's 2 total in the town
One
buildings.
here, one at the Freight House.
The rec
That's it.
department need one?
They don't have one down there.
No.
So
It's actually 3 because the highway department.
Oh, transfer station. They don't have one there?
I don't believe so.
What the hell would be for there?
Library does, right? Library does.
Say 4.
4?
I would
Okay.
like to be a safe bet.
All right, I will let you know, have a number in mind. There'll be one at the OCC and maybe some of the local churches.
Okay.
Okay.
Good, thank you. Okay, I'm going to close the public input. The tax rate has been set. The final valuation for the town, initially it was 1.7 billion. With all the adjustment, it's down to 1.528 billion. The town tax rate is $3.24. The total tax rate with school, county, and state education is $10.37. The fire precincts, Center Ossipee was $1.06, Ossipee Corner $1.21, and West Ossipee $1.31. So, you're gonna put this on the webpage, it'll be on the webpage, it'll be on the webpage.
I'm very happy with that.
So anyway, it'll be on the webpage. Next meeting will be next week on the 18th, that'll be our next meeting. Anything else before I adjourn?
One thing.
It's whenever
Good,
they
Frank.
call.
Nice to see you back.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's also a public hearing on the county budget this Thursday at 1 p.m.
Right, at the county complex, at the old nursing home,
Annex,
at the old annex, the annex, correct.
10 County Farm Road.
Right.
When's the next budget committee meeting?
Not to the public hearing in February.
February. I know it was sometime, and I was thinking, is it December?
No,
No.
February.
February, okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
Old man.
You wait till I get my